Many people think that compassion drains us, but it's actually something that could totally enliven us. Scientific studies show that real compassion promotes neural integration. It connects all the parts of the brain, so we feel a lot more energized and alive. Another discovery is that compassion enhances our immune system. The world is becoming more toxic, and compassion can help us. Compassion and gratitude are antidotes to fear and ignorance. At this time, when many of us are in the comfort of our own home, while many are sick and others are dying, we must cultivate the heart of compassion to all beings and gratitude for our lives. We pray to Kanseon to embrace us within her heart and free us from the world of suffering, samsara, which is created by our own ego-grasping ignorance. At this time of the coronavirus, we had like to talk about our compassionate essence manifested by Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. A Bodhisattva vows to alleviate suffering and bring blessings in every circumstance. They choose to live with dignity and courage and radiate compassion for all. They choose to live with, the beautiful thing is that we can see bodhisattvas all around. All of you are bodhisattvas, and we are part of a larger net of bodhisattvas. This is what we are here for. Although the air pollution is clearing up due to the lockdowns, the coronavirus is not directly helping with the climate crisis. Coronavirus is a fast-spreading pandemic. Climate crisis is an underlying, slow-spreading major sickness of our planet. As the result of the social distancing measures to take control of the virus, we are seeing a cleaner atmosphere and the favorable response of nature. Will the changes we are seeing in nature help us to address the larger problem of climate crisis? We should be all aware of the calamities that are coming our way and take proper measures. This week, we heard a great presentation at the Zen Peacemakers International by Sensei Ground Fuku Couch. And I hope one day he gives that presentation to Great Mountain Zen Center. Soon, one day soon. In an article in the New York Times, Jack Cornfield said, "It is time to become the lamp in the darkness. It is time that each one of us becomes that light in the darkness. Where others deceive, you stand up for truth. When others are uncaring, you become kind and respectful. This is what is possible for us as humans in this moment." Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva of infinite compassion, may be the most well-known and beloved of the Bodhisattvas. Throughout all schools of Mahayana Buddhism, Avalokitesvara is venerated as the ideal of compassion. The Bodhisattva is said to appear anywhere, even in the hell realms, to help all beings in distress and danger. She is commonly known as the one who hears the cries of the world. Pray to her. Most scholars say that until the time of the early Song dynasty, around the 11th century, the Bodhisattva was portrayed in art as male. From the 12th century on, however, in much of Asia, Avalokitesvara took the form of a mother goddess of mercy. In China, she's called Guanyin, also Kuan-yin, and in Japan, she's Kanon or Kanzeon. Sometimes the Bodhisattva is pictured with features of both genders. This is symbolic of the Bodhisattva's transcendence of dualities, such as male gender distinctions. According to the Lotus Sutra, the Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara has the magical power to transform the body in any form required to relieve suffering. So the Bodhisattva can appear as a woman, man, androgynous, animal, tree, or vegetable. I've been sprouting lentils. When I soak them, they open and start putting out shoots. I have to confess that I experience them as the wisdom and virtue of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, and we feed ourselves with that. Once there was a practitioner who wanted to experience the compassion of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. When he went out to the monastery, he saw an injured dog. He leaned down to take care of the dog, and he saw that the dog had an open wound, and in the wound there were maggots. The monk cleaned the wound and removed the maggots with his tongue, as not to injure the maggots. In that moment, he experienced the compassion and wisdom of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. When we chant the Enmei Yuku Kanon Gyo, Kanon is Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, who hears the cries of the world. It is also said that Kanon is the mother and father of all the Buddhas. Kanon is not inferior to the Buddhas. All the Buddhas come from Kanon. Enmei Yuku Kanon Gyo invokes the spirit of Kanon Bodhisattva to be present with us morning, evening, and every moment. The first lines of the chant emphasize surrender our ego-grasping consciousness, to receive the wisdom and compassion of Kanseon. In order to receive, we have to be empty, or there is no place for the wisdom and compassion to enter. In the same way that we cannot receive anything with a hand that is holding something, our mind cannot receive the gift of compassion and wisdom when it's holding on to attachments. At this moment, let those attachments go. How can Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva take care of all the suffering of the world with her manifold hands and eyes? Do not think of the Bodhisattva as a being separate from yourself. When we hear and see the suffering of others and feel that suffering, we are the hands and eyes of the Bodhisattva. There are many Bodhisattvas out there and also in here. All of us are Bodhisattvas. All of us possess the compassionate heart of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. There are many Avalokitesvara Bodhisattvas trying to help with the crisis we are going through with the coronavirus, and trying to help also with the planetary crisis that was here before the advent of the coronavirus and is still here. The Indian ecologist and social activist Vadhana Shiva, with her words, helped to understand what our challenge is at this time. She says, we need knowledge on how to share. Letting water system and food system and planetary weather systems be destroyed is the stupidity that governs us. Our challenge is really against stupidity. I think the earth is very powerful. It has lived through hotter, colder times. It has lived with dinosaurs, without dinosaurs, without human beings, and with human beings. We are expendable. She will find a way. It is we who must protect our home. The values we need are values of knowledge of how to live with nature. We need knowledge about how to care and how to share. One weapon is compassion. The other weapon is wisdom, or insight into the radical interdependence of all phenomena. Both are necessary. Compassion gives you the fuel, the motive force to go where you need to go, to do what you need to do. It means essentially not to be afraid of the pain of the world. When you are not afraid of the pain of the world, nothing can stop you. But by itself, that weapon is not enough. It can burn you out. So you need the other weapon, namely wisdom, the knowledge of our interbeing. With that wisdom, you know that the battle is not a battle between good guys and bad guys. You know that the line between good and evil runs through the landscape of every human heart. You know that we are so interwoven in the fabric of life that even the smallest act with clear intention has repercussions beyond our capacity to measure or even see. By itself, insight seems abstract and cold. So to keep moving, we need the heat of compassion as well. Consider making a vow, sitting quietly, rest in your heart and ask, what is my most noble aspiration in these difficult times? If you sit quietly and you quiet your heart will answer. The answer could be simple, like, I vow to let go of the things that I'm holding tightly. Or you can say, I vow to let go of some of the things that I'm holding tightly. When we see clearly, everything is brilliant and it arises from the ground of emptiness. The 8 compass points bright and clear, which means every form in every place is no other than Avalokitesvara's brilliant form of compassionate emptiness.